What's going on, navigators? Well, today I'm going to be talking something that's near and dear to my heart, something that I love doing, and that's RV camping. And it's getting that time of year. It's starting to warm up, and it's time to get that baby behind me out of hibernation. So let's go. Alright everybody, welcome back. So today what we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about dewinterizing your travel trailer, okay, or getting it out of hibernation and getting it ready to go on your first camping trip. So we've got a camping trip scheduled here pretty soon, so we're going to go ahead and check this thing out and make sure everything's right with it, because we don't want to have the day that we're supposed to move in come out here and try to hook up and then have a bunch of problems. So we want to go ahead and give ourselves a little bit of time to look it over and make sure we don't have any major problems or anything. So what we're going to do, and what I suggest, is to develop yourself a systematic series of checks, okay, that you'll do on your camper. And one of them, like when you first get it out of hibernation, okay, but you should also have a checklist for every time you take it out. I mean, every time you take this thing out on the road, I mean, these things weigh a lot, okay, and you're going to get out on the highway, and you got to consider the safety of yourselves and everybody else out there. So you want to give a good check to make sure that it's roadworthy, number one. And every camper is going to have different checks. So things that I do today are ones that I developed specifically for my camper. So you'll want to develop some specific to your camper. So just make sure you look over your paperwork and all the information on your particular camper. And you may have checks that I don't do, or you may have additional ones or whatever, so develop your own checks for yourself. But I'll give you a basic guideline of what you're supposed to do, but you can develop your own. So my suggestion is, number one, systematic checks, okay, that you do the same every time so you don't miss anything. And what you can do is just go ahead and develop a checklist, okay, and as you camp more, and you get more experience, your checklist will probably grow. The checklist may shrink, I don't know, but it will grow with you, and you'll learn things that you need to look at that maybe you didn't think of to start with. So develop a checklist, and while you're doing things, while you're checking it, maybe get you a partner, get somebody to help you out or whatever, but keep a list, okay, of deficiencies. So if you find something wrong, you don't have to fix it right there. Just go ahead and write it down and come back and check it out. So that's what I would suggest. That's what I do. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to walk around this camper, and I'm going to kind of talk about these systematic checks that I do, and we'll see if everything's ready, because man, I'm ready to go camping. I love it, camping. All right, so I'm going to start these checks at the front of the camper, and that's where I'm going to end these checks, okay? That way I make sure I go all the way around it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the outside of the camper, okay? So I'll start with the body of the camper, okay? And I'm looking, I'm looking it over. I'm looking in these seams and different places, okay? Just making sure that everything looks airtight. I don't see any dings or dents or places I can get water. Up there on those lights up there, those marker lights, okay, you want to check those. Sometimes you'll get water in those, okay. May be kind of hard to see from up here, but we'll get up on top here in a minute and have a little bit better angle. So, all right, so we've checked the exterior, okay. Now what we want to do, as we start looking at the frame and some of the other components. All right, so I got these little saddles, okay, on here. Okay, I'm gonna check these out, make sure everything's working, make sure I have my pins, okay. Now I'll probably come back and I'll throw some oil on that since it's the beginning of the year. All right, so next thing I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and take this cover off my LP tanks. Okay, and I'm gonna check them out. Okay, main thing I'm looking at is these hoses. Okay, make sure I don't have any cracks in the hosing. Make sure they're not frayed, okay, or worn out. All right, so this one's not even connected, but that's okay. All right, looking at this hose down here, you know, and I'm just checking it over, you know, making sure that I don't see anything that would concern me. Okay, so I'm going to look at my plug-in, okay, for my brakes and my lights. Everything looks clean. You can always get some contact cleaner, spray in that later. Okay, I'm going to take this little cover off of my jack, and I don't know, a lot of people don't put a cover on them, but I would suggest it, you know, because you can get water in here and, you know, this stuff could go bad. So I'll go ahead and check my light. Okay, that seems to be working. All right, I would raise it and lower it, but I'm going to wait because right now I have the jacks down, so my stabilizer, so I'm not going to do that right now. We'll come back and do that later. So I'll write that on a list to come back and check out. All right, so my connector here, just want to check and see that everything seems to be moving right there. I'll probably spray some oil in there. All right, checking out my safety chains. Everything's looking good. All right, come over here. I got this other little saddle here. All right, that was a little bit rough, so I'll put some oil on that. All right, so now, let's see, we'll check out our battery. All right, so what we want to do is just make sure we don't have any corrosion, okay, any water coming out anywhere on my wires. Everything looks connected right. And here in a minute, you know, we'll start testing out things inside to make sure that everything's working electrically. So all right, so everything's looking good up here in the front. So let's start going down the side. So basically what we're going to do on the side, okay, kind of same thing we did earlier. Okay, we're checking around seals and everything, making sure that everything looks good and waterproof, checking the integrity of the side. All right, making sure everything looks good. All right, checking our plug-ins. All right, looks like everything. Well, there goes a wasp. You got to watch those, because when you start opening things up, you may run into a wasper. So everything looks good there. We'll go ahead and open up this first compartment here. Get the keys out. I always got to remember what keys what at the beginning of the year. All right, so we're looking inside here. We don't have much loaded up. That's going to be another step here in a minute. But you know, I'm feeling around in here, see if I had a little bit of rain yesterday, so it's perfect time to check it. Check these seals, okay? You can always condition these rubber seals here, okay, to make sure, like their old stink boo, make sure that, you know, these aren't dry rotted or anything. So everything's looking good there. All right, now we're going to come back here to the tires. Now, I'll go ahead and cover mine up because, you know, that sun's rough on tires, it's rough on campers, it's rough on everything. So I keep them covered, you know, and I've got them parked up here on some concrete to hopefully help the tires keep from dry rotting. But we'll go ahead and take these covers off here and check these tires out. Now, one thing you're going to do too, and I'll come back and do that after a while, but you're going to check the pressure in them, make sure everything's good. But when you're checking these tires, look with your eyes and then feel with your hands. You know, feel if you feel any bulges or anything or any separation. Okay, make sure you feel on the back side also. Okay, check that out. So that one there's looking pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and pull this other one off here. And you know, it's the same thing. It's going to be the same thing for all your tires. You're going to check them all the same. So I'll check the air pressure in them. I'm going to give them a good visual, okay, make sure I don't see anything that stands out, okay, and then I'm going to run my hands on them, okay, feeling for any kind of bulges, okay, feel around the back. Just want to make sure I don't feel any bulges or separation. All right, everything's looking good, and you know, these tires don't last forever. You'll have to replace them a couple times, probably every so many years. You know, it's a good idea to keep track of your mileage so you know what kind of miles you're putting on them. But everything looks good on this side. All right, back here in the back, same thing. All right, so this spare tire, I'm gonna give it the same checks as I do all the other ones. Check the air pressure and look at it and feel on it, make sure I don't feel nothing weird. Okay, so all these lights back here, I'll check around the seals. Okay, everything's looking good. I'll check all them up there. All right, now got a back door on this one, so what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and open it up. And kind of the same thing I did with the other one. Like I said, it just rained, so you got these little rubber seals around it. Okay, you can condition those to make sure they're not dry rotted. But I'll feel around right inside this door, see if I feel any water or anything. All right, everything's looking good. Good to go. All right, now I got my water heater back here. Now when you open this for the first time, you all might know it, but you got to watch out, because them wasps, they like to get up in there and build nests. So just be careful when you open them up. But you know, I'll do a function check here after a while to make sure everything's working. But look here, see, I had a wasp, had some wasps right there. They would have got me if it was later in the year probably. But you know, I'm gonna have to put my plug back in it here after a while. You know, you can get you a vacuum or something, or blow some air in here and blow all that dust out there. I'll probably do that later on, so I'll put that on my to-do list. All right, so now going up this other side, it's going to be the same thing. Now on this side, I do have a canopy. Okay, so what I'm going to do after a while, I'm going to extend it out, and I'm going to check it out and make sure I don't have any dry rot. You know, you can go ahead and clean those up for, you know, to start the year. And just make sure everything functions right. This is an electric one, so you know, I'll check it out and make sure that everything's good to go. But anyway, on this side, I've got a couple more little doors that I can check on and see if I've been getting any water. So that's what we'll do. Okay, like I said, it's hard to remember what key's what on this thing. All right, so we got it opened up here. Now this is where my refrigerator goes. I took it out for the season, so I'll be putting it back in, and I'll do a function check of it. Okay, my stove here. Okay, after a while, I can pull it out, turn my gas on, and you know, you want to go ahead and check and make sure everything's functioning good. I also want to make sure I got all my tools. So, you know, I keep a toolbox, a screwdriver, a hammer, you know, just basic tools, some extra fuses. Okay, you see here I got some electric connectors, got what else we got in here, extension cord, got some tent stakes, you know, just things that I might have to use. And look here, I got my drain plug in here. I'll have to put it back in. So, you know, you want to check that out, and then check in here, check your seals once again, make sure they're not dry rotted. Feel around, make sure you ain't got no water coming in. Everything's looking good. So on this side, I'll check around these windows. Okay, make sure I don't have any cracks, or I'll check the integrity of the side of the camper, make sure nothing's going on. All right, with these tires, it's going to be the same checks that I did on the other side. Okay, same checks, so I'll check them out. All right, got a plug here. I'll just kind of look at it. After a while, what I'll do when I get everything hooked up, I'll come test that plug, make sure it's working. All right, so as we go up through here, still on the outside, you know, I check my door, make sure it's swinging freely, everything's working right. Okay, check these seals once again, check around, see if I see any water or anything. Okay, my stairs, okay, I can tell they're a little bit hard to move, so I'll probably come back and oil those up a little bit, you know, on all those pivot points, make sure everything's nice and smooth. All right, still checking the integrity of the camper, making sure I don't see any intrusions or any problems with anything, any cracks. All right, then I got this last door here. I'm gonna pop it up. All right, I'm gonna check these seals for dry rot. I'm gonna feel inside for water. I don't feel anything, so everything is looking pretty good on the integrity of the outside of the camper. Okay, we've checked pretty much everything on the outside. Okay, now another thing I suggest doing, give it a good look underneath. Okay, so you're gonna look underneath, and what are you looking for? Okay, you're just making sure you don't see nothing hanging down. Okay, making sure that everything's affixed like it's supposed to be. Okay, I don't see no dripping going on nowhere. You want to get back there by your back wheels. Hold on, I'll change direction here real quick. All right, so you want to get back in here where you can see backside of your tires. Okay, your brake lines, your hubs and all that. Okay, make sure everything looks connected good. Okay, checking to see, you know, that everything looks like it's good to go. Okay, I don't see anything offhand that concerns me. You also see you got gas lines running here and there. Okay, kind of check them out, make sure you don't see anything that might concern you. And you know, here after a while we'll be doing a function check of everything, so you know, we'll get a better idea of how everything's working or if it's not working. So all right, so we'll climb up here on top, check the roof. Whenever you're climbing around on a ladder, it's always good safety note. Number one, all right, make sure that you got a good stable spot to put it in, and step down on it with my big fat butt. I'll go ahead and sit down, make sure it's planted good, and also maybe get you a helper to hold it for you when you go up, which I've got a helper. So let's climb up on top here and see what it looks like. All right, so as I'm going up, I'll show you right now. You'll get a lot of times this seam right here. All right, hold on a second. All right, this seam right here. Okay, you'll get a lot of fraying right there. Okay, where it comes across there and joins. And I do have some on this camper, and I've got a fix-it project coming up that I'll show you later down the line. But I've got some stuff that I'm gonna fix it with, and I'll just leave that for later. I'll put a link in the description after the repair video's done. But just hit that notification bell and you'll know when it comes out. So as we're coming up here, all right, so what we're going to do, what we're looking for. All right, anytime you got a camper, number one, you want to read and make sure that you can stand on the roof, because not all of them you can. So you'll want to check your book and make sure that you're able to walk. Okay, that you got a walkable roof. Okay, so things you're looking at anytime that you've got seals, okay, or you've got something sitting up on top here, you want to look around and make sure that you don't have any cracks. Okay, up here in the top here, okay, where everything comes together. Okay, I want to check it real good, make sure I don't see any cracks. Okay, underneath my air conditioner unit. Okay, later on I'll take this hood off and I'll make sure everything's good and clean up underneath there. Okay, I'm going to look around all on this roof, and I'm just looking for tears, cracks, okay, places where, like, look here. All right, this right here. All right, that's just a piece of tar or something right there. I thought maybe that's a crack. It's not. But look, I'm looking around here, making sure I don't see any cracks or anything. All right, so everything's looking good. I don't see anything that concerns me, so that's good. I mean, man, that's awesome. Now, we'll come back later and I'll take these covers off and I'll look up underneath there, make sure there's nothing going on. Okay, but I'm not going to bore y'all with that, but I will put that on my checklist of things to come and do after a while. So let me look here. I see something. All right, you see right over in that corner where that screw's coming through. Okay, that's a spot that I will get some self-leveling caulk, and I'll come back and I'll put some caulk on there. Okay, and fix that up, put a little dab on there. Everything's looking good with this camper. All right, so that's the outside. Let's go inside. All right, so now we're inside. So we're gonna look around a little bit, make sure everything looks right in this camper. So, you know, we'll start out. What we're really looking for, we're not going to do the function check yet. Now we're just kind of looking at the integrity of the inside of the camper, making sure that, you know, over the winter we didn't have any problems. Main problems you're looking for is water, okay, water damage. So anyway, it's kind of dark in here. I haven't turned on all the power yet, but you know, basically what we're going to do is we're going to be looking around the camper, okay, and we're looking for areas where we might have water. All right, you're checking to make sure you don't have any bubbles or see any of this wallpaper starting to peel off. Okay, I'm sitting here right now looking at my smoke detector, okay, and I can go ahead and tell you that well, I don't want to tear it up, but what's going on here? All right, take that off. Okay, I'm looking at it and I'm making sure that I don't see any corrosion or anything that looks messed up. But I do know that, hey, start of a new season, I'm gonna put a new battery in there. Okay, you want to get in these closets. Okay, you want to get in there and feel around. Okay, make sure you don't have any water in there. You know, you're looking at that wallpaper, make sure it's not peeling. Okay, everything's looking good. Make sure you do all of them. So, you know, so I started here at the door. So when you do these checks, you know, you wanna come around in the same pattern every time. So we'll go counterclockwise. So as we're coming through here, we're looking. All right, I'm not seeing anything on the ceilings or anything. All right, I'm going to get underneath here, okay, where I got my water lines and stuff. All right, and I'm going to look back in there and I'm going to feel around. Okay, I got a lot of stuff in here, so I'll have to move some of that stuff around. But, you know, you're feeling around, making sure, you know, even though you did winterize everything, making sure nothing froze up, you know, when you got any water. You're also looking around, make sure you don't have any mouse turds or anything, because them mice, I mean, they find a way to get in. All right, so I'm just looking everything over. Okay, make sure, give the old smell test, make sure I didn't leave anything in here that would have went rotten. All right, still looking at the ceiling. All right, coming in here in the bathroom, it's the same thing. Okay, you're looking around, making sure you don't have any water damage. Okay, I don't see anything. That's a good sign. All right, these beds, I'll get back and I'll feel on them. I'll look up here at the ceiling, make sure I don't see anything. All right, and here in a minute, when I start doing function checks, I'll flip this mattress up and I'll get back there and look at that water heater, make sure everything looks good underneath it. All right. Alrighty, I don't see anything. Not seeing anything that concerns me, so that's a good thing. So I don't really have a whole lot of notes on the inside, other than one thing I do notice is we're going to clean. Okay, we'll go ahead, we'll clean this thing up, we'll give it a cleaning, a sweeping, and all that. So when we get down to camp that first time, man, it'd be nice and fresh and nice and clean, and that'd be good, because that's what makes these good. You can get, it ain't like rough camping. You can come inside to some clean, relaxing area where you can chill. So, all right, so we're moving down the checklist. All right, we started out number 1. Okay, we checked the outside of the camper. So we walked around, you know, we checked the tires, we checked all around the windows, we checked the lights, we checked our LP tank, we checked our battery, you know, we checked all around to make sure, you know, we didn't have any issues. And then we went up on top and checked the roof, and we even looked up underneath the camper. So we did all the outside. So that was number 1. Number 2, we checked the inside. Okay, so we went inside and, you know, we checked to make sure Everything was good to go inside, you know, that we didn't have any signs of water leaking or anything like that over the winter. So that's pretty much it. If you look in the description of this video, you'll see all the steps, you know, listed. And all that's really left to do is book your camping trip and navigate outdoors. And if you navigate outdoors, you're going to have good times, I promise. So thanks again for joining me. Hope this was informational for you. Hope you learned something. If you got any questions or you got ways that you do things, hey, put them in the comments. You know, I'm always learning. So if there's something you do that maybe I didn't do, let me know about it. I'm gonna go back and look at my list of things that I need to go back and look at and fix and stock up on and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I'm gonna correct all the deficiencies that I got. Luckily, knock on wood, I don't have many, so that's good. Should be a good camping trip this first time. I mean, it's all about preparedness. You know, go ahead and prepare beforehand, and you know, that way you don't run into a bunch of problems when you're out there maybe somewhere remote camping, and you know, you sour the whole trip. You know, start the trip off right, and you know, with some pre-planning, and you know, make you some lists and do your checks and check it twice, just like Santa Claus, and hey, you'll be good to go and you'll have a good time. So coming up in the future, I'm going to have a video on how to organize, you know, your camping stuff, and organize your lists, and organize all your, you know, everything that you need to do to go with camping, because I found some pretty good ways that I do things, and I think they may help you out. So I'll have some videos coming up, so hit that notification bell, hit like if you like the video, and like I said earlier, navigate outdoors, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.